Departmentation and span of management is a topic which we are going to see now. Departmentation. What is departmentation? Departmentation is nothing but it is a process in organization. That is, the departmentation is trying to divide or group the activities which an employee will be doing in an enterprise. So we give a title to each job or the group. So by grouping the activity, we call it as departmentations, or we try to divide each main functions into different sub functions and we call it as departmentation. So this departmentation can be done on the basis of work, what type of work they are doing, or the based on the performance, the type of the performance they are doing, or based on the sub functions or the sub functions. So it is like a constitution of a different work. So the main work how they do is they try to split it. And regarding departmentation, it is, as I told you, it is a process in the organization, and we try to group the common activities. Whatever the activity we are going to do in the organization, we try to divide that into some different grouping of activities. So based on their nature of functions, what they are going to perform under a single person. Why do we need departmentation? As far as the departmentation is concerned, it is trying to increase operating efficiency. So when the workman is trying to have a better departmentation, because he knows the work what to do, based on the functionality or his performance, he can do it in a better and in an operating efficiency way. And he tries to make the executive be alert and efficient in their duties. So we can even have a basis like departmentation is based on the functions, as I told you. So or based on the territory, like that we can classify so that the executive can be alert and efficient in their duties. It tries to increase the prestige and skill of the department heads. So as far as the prestige is concerned, it tries to increase the prestige and the skill department heads, because we have different departments there. They will be having wide knowledge in the particular field, like specializing in the particular field, and it also makes the department heads work in a more efficient way, and it gives a further route for the expansion. So there is a possibility of expanding the organization, and it is giving much benefit in case of preparing the budgets, or like controlling the expenditure, or trying to have specialization. As I told you, when you are doing the same nature of work, you will have more specialized knowledge, and it tries to have better quality. Now we will see the advantages of this departmentation. What are the main advantages of this departmentation is concerned? It is based on the specialization, and the main thing is it is giving us, as I told you, there is a more scope for growth and expansion, fixing up the responsibility. We can have a better control over the functions. And as I told you, if you are talking about a specialization, a person, one who is indulging in many manufacturing activity, then he will be having a different process in the manufacturing. So he will be knowing different how to perform based on the functions, different functions in the manufacturing activity. So there is a better scope for performance appraisal, and it is giving a overall management development. And as I told you, it is giving a better allocation of budget or trying to control the expenditure. It provides a optimum utilization of various resources. Then there is a chance for better cost benefit analysis, or whenever we are doing some departmentation work, it is the result is whenever there is an excessive department on expenditure, like we have more on capital expenditure, like buildings or furniture or machinery, whatever it is, we try to know and controlled and work out the cost benefit analysis, so that it is trying to have a better control over cost efficiency, or we can even call it as a cost efficiency control mechanism. And whenever we are talking about how to go for departmentation, we should do some homework. That is why we can go for a better control. So we have to know the structure of the organization, and based on the structure we can decide the authority and responsibility. So fixing responsibility with authority is more essential, and this is the extent through which the top management will try to decentralize the functions of the enterprise. So it is very important that the people who are at the various units, they should be given intensive training in order to have more taking up more responsibility jobs. Disadvantages of departmentation is it is not more communicative. So unless the departments they don't communicate well, we cannot have the utility of these departments. Then the employees who are working in the particular organization, they should identify that is the department goals than the organization goals. So the first priority should be given to the department goals and to the organization goals. And sometimes if the company is having some response to external changes, then their result may not be such positive, or even they will be getting slower results. And same way, if I was telling about the training and development, efficiency development, if people are not trained properly, they don't take up a manager responsibility, then there will be some lag behind, because though you are specialized, you should be able to take up the responsibility. So only specialization can achieve some results, but only with the help of responsibility you can achieve the desired results. And here in departmentation, people will be only engaging in group thinking, and they don't think about outside input. So they will be always focusing on group development. So as far as a function department is concerned, we have different bases of departmentation. So first one is departmentation by functions. So based on their functions, like production functions, marketing functions, or engineering functions, or finance functions, we can have different workings. So the merit is, it is based on the scientific and time test model, and the work done are by the highly specialized people, and it tries to duplicate the work. So there is a lower cost. Then communicating and coordinating problems are lessening, that is the main advantage. And as I told you, we have the principle of specialization, and it enables to have effective performance control. So these are the benefits of functional departments. Then regarding the disadvantages, and this is not much suitable for diverse operations, because as I told you, we are being concentrating on only on the functions. So cross department coordination cannot be much simple, so it will be very easy. And regarding decision making, functional departmentation will have a slower process in decision making, and we have only specialized people who don't think about other than their specialization area, so which will have a narrow experience in producing such managers, because carrying specialization is too bit far. So when an employee is specialized only in a small work, so he cannot have a balanced attitude when he has to do the full work. So that is also one problem. And regarding coordination, it tries to hamper the coordination between different functions. So these are the problems with respect to advantage of functional. The next one is departmentation by product. So departmentation by product is, we have different products. So like for example, we have in like a scooter or a bicycle, even spare parts or something like that. So that is what the departmentation with respect to product is concerned. So this is a second base for departmentation. So regarding the advantages, the managers, they try to specialize but have a broader experience, and it is very easy to assess the work and the unit performance, and the decision making also is much, because of the having better facilitation over the effective span of control. So they also have intimate knowledge about the customers and their local market, because they are more specializing on the a particular product, only bicycle, only scooter, like that. They have some specification. So that is with respect to product specifications, and it also have a better economy in terms of time and money, because they have a benefit like a lower freight or lower rents or lower labor costs. So these are the benefits which can be reaped by product departmentation. And regarding the disadvantages, we have a much number of managerial persons. So we have large number of managerial persons. So it is very difficult to coordinate different department activities. And regarding the another disadvantages, duplication of activity. So how it is possible is there is a dilution. So dilution of activity, like we get diluted control from the headquarters, and it also, as I told you, each the products will have some similarity, but still the work will be duplicated. So advantages. Then departmentation by customers. So when you talk about customers, we have to talk about the various needs of the customers, what our customers want. So for example, we are doing it in the form of a commercial bank. We are in the loan sections. So we have to give loan to the car loan is given, housing loan is given, agriculture is loan is given, then business loan is being given. So we have to have different departmentations. So the more advantages it is focusing on, as I told you, customer needs. So we have to have some tailored products like and services which are together for the need of the customers. So it takes into account what the customer needs. So what is the need of each class of customers? So the need of agriculture farmers will be totally different from the need of an housing loan taker. So we have to look into each things. And it is also trying to promote specialization among their enterprise staff. Another advantages like benefit of intimate knowledge which people are acquiring regarding each customer. So they have a better touch with the customers, they can understand their customers. So these are the advantages. Regarding the disadvantages, the first one is the duplication of resources. And regarding the coordination, so it is very difficult to coordinate. Sometimes even underutilization of resources are possible in some departments, and the efforts to please the customers may sometimes hurt the morale of the company. So next one is based on the that is a geographic departmentation, or even you call it as departmentation by territory. So this is much suitable for enterprise which has a wide dispersed activity. Like we have work centers or activities which are being done in different places, like wholesaling, or we have different workplace work centers like that. So we will see the disadvantages of advantages of this geographic departmentation. Is first one, it is responsible, and that is it is trying to gain some intimate knowledge about customers. So here, as we talk about territory, it is about the local market. Like we have different places, so we concentrate more on the local market and demand of different markets, and regarding unique resources which is more closer to the customer. So it has a more facilitation of effective span of control, and it also tries to have better economy in terms of time and money, because of this lower flight or whatever charges I told you. Then regarding the duplication of resources, and the another point is difficult to coordinate process. Now this is with respect to process. So regarding the process, how it is being done in the thing. So we taken a different example of industry, cotton industry, like so we have different things here over here. So first one is we have what is called as spinning department, weaving department, dyeing department, and printing department. So based on the different functions which is being done on the process, so each process there is a continuity. So first one is spinning, then weaving, then dyeing and printing. So this is with respect to process departmentation. The more advantages. It is more operational efficiency. It has a more better way for benefiting the specialization. Then it tries to reduce the manufacturing time and also unnecessary movements in the process. So we know spinning is the first process, weaving is the second process, dyeing is the third process, and printing will be the part of the fourth process. So there is a continuity and linkage between each process. Regarding the disadvantages, it is having high cost and there is a need for more training for the personnel who are in each field. So this is with respect to the design and structure which we will be doing it in an organization. So that may create like a failure or confusion with respect to roles they play, or lack of coordination among different functions, or failure to share their ideas, and slow decision making. So this is bringing managers unnecessary complexity and stress. So we have to understand the organization structure, how it has been done in that is whether it is on department or team, and based on the chain of command, centralization, formalization, span of control, specialization, and departmentation. That is a brick of the developing a structure. Now we will talk about what is called as the span of control. So span of control is a number of people who will be reporting to one manager in a hierarchy. So this is one of the main principles of management. So the more people who are coming under the control of one manager, the wider will be the span of control. When there is a less number of people, then we call it as a narrow span of control. So we have taken an example for a marketing manager. So under marketing manager, we have marketing assistant, market researcher, telesales supervisor, and customer care assistants. Now, how to make an effective span of management? So in order to have a better effective span of management, we have to have what is called as the better supervision and control. Then we have to talk about the increased efficiency in an organization. Then we have to have a good professional relationship, that is very much needed in the developing the span of management, and communication coordination. Then trying to develop a discipline and mutual trust. So only based on the mutual trust there is a span of control can be done in an organization. Then what are the different types of span of control? I told you there is a wide span of management when we have a larger number of subordinates. So example, it can be 7 to 8 number of subordinates. And the narrow span of management is we have a single manager or supervisor who is having few number of subordinates. So example can be 2 to 3 number of subordinates. Now as far as the span of management is concerned, it is purely based on the capacity of supervisor. So these are the factors which decide the span of management. The nature of work, what type of work we have to assign, and what type of work has to be done. Then based on the degree of centralization, planning process, how do we use the staff assistance given to us, then how the supervision is being done from others, and the techniques we do for the communication, strategy we adopt in communication, and based on the capacity, how many can. So it is purely based on the capacity of supervisor capacity. So regarding the factors which decide the span of control is based on the capacity of manager. So here when you talk about capacity of manager is problem solving skill he has, or decision making skill, or communication skill, and leadership traits. Regarding the manager, if he possesses such a capacity, then he can manage more subordinates. Then regarding the capacity of subordinates, if he is a well-trained person who is having more efficient subordinates, then he need not much help their manager. Then we have to have a broad guidelines. Then regarding the work, that is the nature of work. So when we have a routine or repetitive job, then we don't need much special talents because he knows what he has to do. Then regarding the degree of centralization, so these are the factors. Suppose the subordinate is not having much knowledge on the authority frequency and how to consult or a manager for clarification. He does not know how to consult the manager if he has to need clarification. Same way, when they have a higher the degree of centralization, then we have a wider span of control. Now the different types of span of control. So as we know, we have two types. One is a narrow and a wide. So narrow span of control allows for a closer supervision of employees. It is giving more layers in the hierarchy in the required scale. Then there is a more scope for effective communication. When we have a wider span of control, it gives the subordinate the chance for more independence, and there is a more appropriate, that is with respect to significance of labor cost. So number of managers will be reduced. So types of management with respect to span, so wide span and the narrow span. So the structure of wide span will be flat, and in narrow span it will be tall, and the factors is there is a referring to more complex supervisors, and there is a little time to reach the appropriate points as compared to narrow, and this is less expensive than the narrow span. And regarding the narrow span, as we have discussed, it is expensive and there is more time needed to reach the appropriate point.